Hey, Todd Falcone here. Wanted to do a video in this last week. I had a conversation with a woman. It's been 10 years since I've talked to her. She was originally featured in a series that I did called The Dynamic Divas of Networking, where I interviewed 8 women on how they became successful in network marketing. And at that time, she was just launching a new network marketing company. And this is what I want to do the video on today. So over the last probably 5 or 6 months, I've been bumping into, on my travels, on airplanes and all these different places I go, almost everywhere I go, I'm like seeing somebody in her company. Like I'll see somebody wearing a logo t-shirt or a hat or something, and I always go up and have a conversation with those individuals. And I reached out to her on Facebook the other day, said, man, I'm seeing your people everywhere. She said, well, that doesn't surprise me because we'll probably do right around $500 million this year. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. And what's interesting is a lot of people will see this company and they don't know all the stuff that led up to where they're going to be this year and into the future. So the appearances, bam, overnight, $1 billion, they just appeared out of nowhere. And it's because most people don't know all the stuff that went into creating the momentum to get that company where it is today. And you know, it's interesting because a few years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little longer, maybe 7 or something like that, right when T. Harv Eker started to bust onto the scene, I remember going, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's been a speaker, trainer for a long time. I said, where did this guy come from? I mean, he's crushing it. And he's like, dude, T. Harv has been at it for like 15 years. And he just now had gotten to the sweeping amount of momentum based on all the stuff that he's done over the years. And it's interesting because, and I have a friend of mine, Susan Sly. She's one of the top income earners in Isogenics, and she has this great phrase. She goes, everybody seems to know the glory, but they don't know the story. See, like when somebody becomes successful or a company becomes monstrously successful, people seem to just see that, but they don't know all the stuff that led up to that. Like my friend Pam Souter, who, you know, the company I was just referring to is It Works. Now, this company is rocking right now, and they've been working hard at it for an extended period of time to finally get where they are today. Much like even Visalis. A lot of people are like, wow, Visalis just busted onto the scene over the last few years. Well, yeah, they did really, really well over the last few years, but they had many years, you know, I think like 6 or 7 years ahead of the time, you know, working on getting their formula right to where they could finally have that same kind of momentum. I had lunch with a good friend of mine the other day, BK Barreco, same thing. His company has been going, and now all of a sudden, you know, they're having this upward growth curve. So why am I even doing the video on this today? Well, because here, you know, most of you guys that are watching this video are on this path to creating success in your lives. And the important thing that you have to understand in order to create that success, whatever that is for you, is that it takes time. It takes, it's a process. It's a journey that we all go through. And see, if you use the examples like Pam with It Works, or BK with Vima, or my friend Susan with Isogenics, or the folks over at Visalis, or any of these companies, these are folks that didn't deviate along the journey. In other words, they didn't go, well, look at it like this. Look at it like it's a garden, okay? So you have this garden. You have this like nice little piece of dirt. You throw your seeds in there. Well, in order for you to have a successful garden, you have to water it. So watering it would be prospecting, team building, working with, being consistent. I mean, constantly doing stuff to make sure that the seeds have a chance to germinate, have a chance to bust through the ground, and then begin to grow. And then what happens when they bust through the ground? You're like, wait a second, we want to give this as much help as we can. So then we fertilize it. Well, when you fertilize it, you know, it gives them more nutrients. Well, if we're talking about nutrients in network marketing, what kind of nutrients are we talking about? Well, mental nutrients, probably working on, you know, your mindset and where your attitude is and where your head is and where your skills are, and making sure that you're more efficient in the things that you're doing each and every day in your business. And then there's weeds, and the weeds come in. You know, weeds are kind of crazy because they don't need nutrients, they don't need stuff. They just kind of come in, and if you don't pick weeds right away, they will literally wrap themselves around your nice little plants, whatever you got growing in your garden, and it will smother whatever you've got growing there. So it's critically important that you're pulling the weeds out of your garden. Well, what are weeds when it comes to building a network marketing business? Probably negative friends, negative downline, politics, garbage, negativity in general, negative thought processes here. I don't know if I can, I don't know if I'm good enough, I don't know if it's possible for me, what if it doesn't work, what if it, I don't know. I mean, all these crazy things that go on in here. So how do we pulling the weeds out? Well, sometimes it's just, I'm not spending any more time with you, you're too negative. For me, if it's my own brain that I got to work on, it's like, okay, I got to get rid of the mental thoughts, maybe some positive affirmations, maybe spending more time with positive people, maybe finding more encouraging individuals to hang out with, a number of things we can do to feed our brain so the stuff that's going in here and that sticks in there and that stays in here and that dominates in here is positivity, right? Important stuff. So if you have a garden, like if you just take the examples of the companies I just referred to, you don't just plant seeds and then then I'll dig them up and then plant some different ones. And you wait a week and you're like, it's not happening. Oh, plant them up, dig another one. I mean, that's what people do in network marketing. They don't give it enough time. They don't water it. They don't nourish it. They don't pull weeds. They don't oversee it. I remember I had a garden and I had these snails that would come marching in overnight. Like they wouldn't do it during the daytime, but dun, 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 dun. These snails would come marching over the fence and I'd come up the next day and then all my leaves would be eaten on these little things that I was growing in my garden. I'm like, what? And finally I got up early one time and I saw this little snail shell or this little snail trail. And I'm like, I got to get rid of that. So, I built this little fence around it to protect my garden. Sometimes you got to do things to protect your garden. So my point in doing this whole video is that success, for most people, honestly guys, success takes time. And not only does it take time, but it requires you to be actually doing stuff during time. That means watering, nourishing, feeding, pulling weeds, taking care of it, staying focused, not deviating, not changing directions and shifting gears all the time. I mean, almost every single person that I know, whether they're company owners, whether they're top distributors, whatever they are, they've found something that I'm going to do this thing. They put their blinders on and they're like, okay, this is my garden. I'm gonna build this garden. I'm gonna make this the richest, most awesome garden that's gonna bear super fruits and vegetables and whatever else you decide to grow in that garden of yours. They don't change their mind halfway through and stop and they quit and they throw in the towel. I mean, this is, but people will see it and they go, oh wow, no, I'm so jealous. You're so successful. Gosh, why not me? It just seemed to appear overnight for you. I don't know anybody who it's happened for overnight at all. It's a process, it's a journey, it's something that we can grow through, that we can grow during, and hopefully we can get in this mental state where we can enjoy that whole thing that goes on, because it does take time. So, I don't know. Congratulations to all the companies I just mentioned. Isogenics, 10 years, rocking over $300 million in sales. Vima, BK, congratulations, you're crushing it. It's good having lunch with you the other day. Pam, Souder, it works. You guys are doing well as well. Visalis, you guys are still crushing it. And a lot of other folks out there. But if I didn't mention your company, whatever. I'm just using a couple of examples here. That's cool. We'll see you on another video.